This week in a conversation, I had the privilege to receive in the conversation Vince Jones. He is a screenwriter, movie producer, entrepreneur. He's multitask. He's a gentleman you love to listen to. And he's going to be talking to us about a Fan Fest event during the Super Bowl weekend in Glendale, Arizona. And it's a Fan Fest that will begin on February 6th and will end on February 11th. Interesting conversation with Vince Jones. But before we get into this wonderful conversation, I just want to remind everyone that it's important to continue to lend your support to the conversation, which is your best literary show out there, and also a show that also showcases many times before movie personalities. So also, just before we get to the interview with Vince Jones, I just want to remind you also of Bittersweet Memories of Last Spring, which is my latest novel. If you haven't purchased a copy, just go ahead and do so. If you have, you need to tell a friend to do the same. How about I just get a copy and give it to a friend as a gift during the holiday season? So, yeah. And also, if you like this video, so let us know in the comment box at the bottom of the video, and also like it too. So let's get started. Again, my name is Ardain Isma, and I'm here this evening with an impressive movie producer, a gentleman who's multitask, put it mildly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're going to be talking about all his production activities and his current project.
Mm-hmm.
So, Vince, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, Vince, would you please tell the viewers of CSMS Magazine who is Vince Jones?
Okay, so Vince Jones, I do a number of things. I started out as a screenwriter, but these days I'm more an executive producer of feature films and TV shows. A lot of my projects will be slated for 2023. So next year, everybody will kind of be able to see a lot of my TV shows and things of that nature. Also, I do events with nonprofits in the area STEM and STEAM for children, and I'm doing a project with the Super Bowl, and it's going to be in a tech event called Immersive City.
Now let's get back to before we get to Immersive City, I want to go back to your own production company.
Okay.
It's called New Millennium Studio.
Yes.
So how did you come to this wonderful, impressive achievement?
Well, basically, I have a family that has a history within the entertainment space. So it's something that I kind of grew up with. One of my brothers actually is a musician, and he wrote a song that was featured by Sting and Shaggy, and he got a Grammy. I have another brother who is a cameraman for Fox, and he's always been filming things. So it was sort of kind of came naturally. And I always had an interest in entertainment. So I started out in screenwriting, and then I wanted to kind of move beyond that. So I created a group, and we started to have our own film festivals. So we had our own film festivals for like 4 years. And with the film festival, I produced what they call the panel discussion. So we would have 4 or 6 people from different industries and companies. And I got a chance to meet a lot the who's who of Hollywood. So I have a very extensive network of people in Hollywood. So I just kind of kept in that vein and continued to write. So now I'm at the position where I can greenlight my own movies and TV shows, and I can kind of do things on my own terms. So it's been a long road, but I'm very happy where I am in the business, and I have the ability to do the things that I want. And my genre, just for your audience, is I write sci-fi. So I do like the Matrix or the Terminator. So I do the high-end movie. So, I'm just a little bit different from the average screenwriters.
I don't think you're just an average. I think you're probably riding high to the top of the line. I can't imagine, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, anyone who would be, I'm sure there are many out there,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not that many, so to speak,
Exactly.
or so multitask. You can find a movie producer, and of
Mm-hmm.
course, every production company, you
Mm-hmm.
know, it's a team of savvy folks,
Exactly.
put together projects before
Mm-hmm.
they can be delivered to an audience.
Yes.
So then, I know you have this interesting project, which is Immersive City.
Yes.
And if I want to get this thing correct, it has a tag which is See the Future. That's a tagline.
Yes.
In which you intend to showcase technologies like
Mm-hmm.
virtual reality,
Mm-hmm.
artificial intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
applications, robotic
Mm-hmm.
drones,
Mm-hmm.
3D printing,
Mm-hmm.
metaverse platform,
Mm-hmm.
eSports, gaming, you name it. So,
Yes.
so how do you really
So
find the time?
imagine, imagine I'm we have 25 acres, but my space is
Oh,
the length of, say, two basketball courts. So I have about 200 by 50 space of area. So I'm going to have vendors, and the vendors of all of the technologies that you mentioned. So we're going to have kids and adults to be able to come to Immersive City and actually be able to put on the virtual reality goggles or
uh-huh,
the
uh-huh, uh-huh.
AR goggles and experience it. I have Microsoft coming in, and they're bringing like the VR simulators where the kids will be able to actually fly airplanes around and land them in different places in the world.
Wow.
And we're going to have kids doing the drone competitions in eSports. So all of that technology, but under all of that, it's more than just fun. We also are introducing the kids to potential careers, to let them know that they can be a part of the technology
Right.
industry because it's a pervasive industry, and that it requires a lot of different talents, so they can find something that they enjoy and actually pursue it as a career. So we're trying to we're showcasing the future, all of those technologies, but we also are introducing them to pioneers in the field and the potential of having careers to take them from the classroom to careers is sort of where we're going while we're having a good time.
Wow. Wow. Like a teaching tools,
Yeah.
it's just like when a great teacher introducing lesson that are quite engaging. You
Mm-hmm.
the kids are having fun, but also they're learning without even
Mm-hmm.
realizing it.
Well, like when we do some things, like even when we're doing like filmmaking,
Right.
there's been times when we just kind of gave them a couple of instructions, and instinctively they just started gravitating. They knew what they were doing. And just to kind of see that happen in real time is incredible. And I think when kids are excited about something, that their ability to grasp and learn grows exponentially, and we just want to kind of create those situations where
Right.
they can see this immersive technology and figure out new ways to learn,
Mhm.
and possibly new trajectories for their lives, because
Correct.
some of these kids, like we've had kids, we go into the underserved communities, and I've had kids that actually program robots, printed them out on 3D printers, and had the robots, they were cars, and they were like, driving these. And this was something that they created from scratch, from an idea.
Wow.
So it's a very great, it's humbling to see it, but we love to be in that position to be able to introduce the kids to these technologies and then help them and guide them through the career process if they want.
I know you just mentioned underprivileged children,
Yes.
mainly, I presume, minority
Yeah.
children.
Mhm.
Okay. Is that in Atlanta?
Yeah, we do that in Atlanta, but the organization is nationwide. So, we can do this anywhere. A lot of the events that we have done has been in the Southeast, but we can do this anywhere. My team has been doing this for about 15 years. We work with several celebrity nonprofits. We work with colleges and universities, and it's always been the same. The kids go, wow, and when they can actually see and touch the technology and have somebody to kind of explain it to them, it just kind of creates a whole new experience, and they love it. So, we're going to be doing this actually every year during the Super Bowl and kind of creating these experiences. And when we go, we're going to have, like, say, 1,000 kids from different school districts every day. So this
That was
is
going to be my question. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's a
So you've
6-day.
been getting a lot of solicitation from school districts across the nation.
Yes, yeah. Well, because it's a free event for them.
Right.
So we can take anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 students per day for 6 days. Now, in addition to them being introduced to these technologies, we also have little brief times for panel discussions where we can bring in industry pioneers that kind of look like them, so they can actually see and touch and get a chance to meet these people and hear these people talk about their experiences and what tomorrow's workforce looks like. And that's very important because some kids might not see themselves in the workforce of the future, but we're going to change that and allow them to see all of the opportunities. Because, for example, eSports, a lot of people think it's just video games, but did you know you can get a scholarship to go to college for eSports? So things of those natures that people might not know. And
let's talk a little bit about the scholarship.
Exactly.
For eSports. Can you educate the audience a little bit how that process really works?
Okay, well, first, eSports is competitive video game play. So it's two players or a team of players, usually a team of 4 to 6, and they compete against each other in video game battles. But what eSports does, in addition to that, it teaches leadership skills because they play as a team. So there's leadership skills. We also include like social emotional training, the training how to deal with different conflict resolution. We talk about critical thinking. Then we also talk about the computer science behind the video games and show them actually how they can create their own, because these kids are incredibly bright, but they are creative, and we can actually teach them not only how to play games, but how to build them. So we have video game design classes included in our process. So, we talk about more than just the games. The game is just something to kind of get them started, and then we open the world, because there are all type of career opportunities within the esports world. Now, right now, the esports world is about almost $2 billion a year, so it's very profitable. But can you believe the kids? I think they had one kid that won in a tournament $6 million. Just winning $6 million. So you have kids right now that are in like the 10th or 11th grade that are millionaires. They can't get it until they graduate, but they're becoming millionaires. Yeah, playing video games. Now,
that means it's a flourishing industry out there. and
Mm-hmm.
also which provides an opportunity for children to be
Exactly.
successful later on in life.
Exactly. So now imagine you're in high school and you're competing in these competitions, and the prizes are sometimes $5,000, $25,000, $50,000 for winning. So, and this is almost every other week that you can compete because there's so many now. The people who watch these competitions, believe it or not, is more people that watch esports than the NFL. Their base is 450 million people globally. 30 million people a day are watching people play video
Esports.
games against each other. So it creates
Yeah.
a whole
Yeah.
new dynamic. So that's and but we have to educate both the students but their parents too, because if you're not in this world, you just don't know. So we have a way that
I'm learning now, quite frankly.
yeah, so we talk to the parents, but we also do financial literacy. So we partnered with like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and some of these other institutions, because once these kids start to earn money, they need to know what to do with it, because we've seen too often how entertainers and pro athletes get money and terrible things happen. So we have a financial literacy component in our program to actually help them to understand how to manage their money and how to manage their credit wisely.
So your organization is a 501c3 organization, right?
I work with several
Several
501.
of them?
So what I do is I provide the programming
Okay.
for 501c3. So what we do is we work with everybody. So I have a program and I can plug and play this program with any organization. So we've done it at the YMCA, and we can do it with the Boys and Girls Club or any organization that we want to. And then that way, because what we do is really just provide the service for the students or the kids or the members of their organizations. And then we help them because it attracts the money that they need to run these programs.
Mhm.
So that's how
So I was going to ask you a question besides Immersive City, which
Mhm.
uh, Immersive City, before we get uh, to the date and
Mhm.
also, of multiple dates, by the way, which
Mhm.
begins on February 6th. But let me ask
Mhm.
you something.
Mhm.
Um, I know you're a screenwriter.
Yes.
So before you created your own independent production company,
Mhm.
you work with other prior, I would say, production companies. Because
Well,
as a screenwriter, you pitch your work to different movie
well,
production companies.
Well, what I did a little bit different. I started out as a screenwriter,
Okay.
and then I went to events, and at these events, I would meet screenwriters that said, "Oh man, I'm writing the script, and I don't have anybody to direct it." And then I would meet these directors that say, "Man, I have all of this equipment to produce a film and TV show, but I don't have any scripts." So I said, I'm going to create a company, and I'm going to hire both parties and we're going to write and produce our own stuff. So
Okay.
that's how, and but and being involved with the film festivals, I met a lot of producers. So I got a chance to know them on a personal level,
Uh-huh.
and actually get a chance to kind of work with them and kind of see the business, because see, it's show business. So
Hmm.
while I was perfecting my craft, I learned the business of
Uh-huh.
entertainment. But you will find that there are people who have been in the business for like 25 years, and they just know what they do, but they don't understand the machine.
Hmm.
So my background, I graduated from college with a degree in business administration. So for me, I needed to know the business side,
Uh-huh.
and the creative side kind of came naturally. So I'm a little bit of an anomaly because I can do both. I can be on the creative side and the business side. and a lot of people can be either one or the other. So I'm a little different from the average Joe in the film or entertainment business.
And I would say there's a little bit of luck also, because you have the
Yeah.
skills to get into these people, because
Hmm.
it's right, it feels nice, and it is
Hmm.
nice and
Hmm.
strategically important to have the phone numbers of these people, the
Yeah.
right folks you need,
Yeah.
to get the work done.
Yep. And see, that was another thing that the film festival gave me, because I got a chance to meet these people. As I wasn't trying to put anything in their face. I'm not trying to get them to do their project. So they got to know Vince. And once they got to know me and kind of saw how I operated, when it was time for me to talk to them about my projects, it was a million times easier, because it's not somebody coming cold off the streets going, "Hey, can you read my script?" Because literally, when you go to California, everybody's pulling the script out, from somewhere. Read my script, and it doesn't really work that way. Entertainment is much more. The community is much more. If they know you and like you, that's that's the thing that kind of gets you going, versus just being this brilliant, talented person. You can have this guy who is likable and maybe a C-level person, and he'll be working forever. And this brilliant person is hard to deal with, will have trouble because they just don't like to work with them. And there's nothing in entertainment that forces you to work with people. You just work with the people you like most of the time.
Okay, so do you have a lot of minority actors that you work with in the
Yeah.
in your production company?
Well, yeah, and I'm very intentional. A lot of the things that I write, I do diverse cast, so I
Mhm.
have very inclusive of everybody. So
Everybody.
so I don't just kind of write like a monolithic type cast. I just
Mhm.
do kind of things that will what they call be within the popular culture, but I
Mhm.
do include and make sure that I include
Everyone.
diversity in my casting decisions.
Exactly.
And I try to do something different. Like I try to give them roles that they don't traditionally get. So
Mhm.
then you might see, an African scientist, or, something along that nature.
Mhm.
And then so just so we can have something that's different from what you kind of see in the mainstream.
Now, I'm a member of Atlanta Writers Association.
Okay.
So before COVID, I used to go every year. They used to have that huge, convention conference right
Mm-hmm.
downtown at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
And I would meet people from across the country, and then
Mm-hmm.
they would have speakers coming from Hollywood, New York,
Mm-hmm.
which is
Mm-hmm.
the hotbed for all the big kahunas and
Mm-hmm.
literature. They would be,
Mm-hmm.
but one time, it was just before COVID, and I haven't been since COVID. I haven't been to Atlanta, but there
Mm-hmm.
was this young man I met. Uh, he wrote a script, and he wasn't sure if, because there'll come a point where you have to meet at least for 10 minutes one of these
Mm-hmm.
people, and if your work is likable, put it this way, then that's what they call the pre-screening. Then you
Mm-hmm.
would get a chance to be interviewed, or your work would be presented before a
Mm-hmm.
committee and all that. And this young man, he was very, very focused,
Mm-hmm.
but he wasn't sure about his script.
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking to him, and all of a sudden he was called. He went
Mm-hmm.
in. So about 15 minutes later, so he walked out. He was jubilant. He was
Mm-hmm.
overjoyed. I said, "What happened?" He said, "You know what? You can't believe it." Because he was interviewed by a screenwriter
Mm-hmm.
who fell in love with his script immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Since he was not a shy person, just like you're very open,
Mm-hmm.
and then all of a sudden he became a star
Mm-hmm.
before he even got it. He was introduced by this man. The
Uh-huh.
whole afternoon centered
Mm-hmm.
around this young man. I can't
Mm-hmm.
remember. He lived in Georgia, which is a
Mm-hmm.
suburb of Atlanta. And
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen it ever since. But I'm sure that this young man's career
Mm-hmm.
that day took off.
It could happen like that. Like I say, like in the film business, you never know what to expect. And you always just have to kind of be ready because it's like you get up and where your day ends, you can never kind of see that. So you just always have to kind of be ready. But stories like that happen a lot. And, there are no rules, so that can happen, as often as you can imagine, where you have somebody have a chance encounter and it just turns into something that's very wonderful. So the entertainment business, kind of has that type of flexibility.
Mhm. So we've been talking for a while, for almost about a half hour. I have, yeah, but let me ask you a question now, because every time I have a professional in the conversation, so we
Mhm.
start talking about strategic matters
Mhm.
because we're humans.
Mhm.
So how do you keep up like a normal life? Do you sleep, right?
I try, but the funny thing is, I'm the type of person that I compartmentalize,
Right.
so I can do something, for 2 hours, switch gears, and my days are kind of like that, where I start out and I might do 5 or 6 different things during the day, but I sort of work things to completion, switch gears like that, and that's the only way, because it would be because I do a lot of different things, like like even with this Immersive City project, I
Mhm.
had to kind of create the information, because see, tech companies are coming to me because they want to um, have a presence. They want to have their product shown. They want to sponsor different things. So I have to kind of create some materials to communicate to them what Immersive City is, what type of benefits that they will have. But you would be amazed at the Fortune 100 companies that are calling me, wanting to be a part. Like this morning, like I'll give you an example. So this morning I get up and the marketing for TikTok said, "Hey Vince, we want to come through and we want to do this activation at your event, and we want to have Black social influencers to come and
Wow.
speak, and we'll bring them there." So that we're talking to Amazon, we're talking to Amazon Music, we're talking to Microsoft. So all of this is happening, and it's just amazing, because at that particular time I have to be tell them what they need to know, and let leave that there, and then I have to switch to something like totally different. Like I might have to kind of create some materials, so now I'm doing different things, and then I might get a call about a movie scenario.
So do you have a public relation information machine behind you?
I sort of do. My significant other does
Okay.
PR and
Can you imagine?
marketing. Yeah, so she's like my partner and my other half. So I do have that kind of built in, and we
Mhm.
kind of help each other, because
Right.
sometimes I have some resources that she needs, and sometimes she has resources that I need. So it's a very great situation for us. But she
Great
does
team.
the PR and the marketing and stuff,
Mhm.
and like that.
Okay. So who is your favorite screenwriter? It doesn't have to be an American.
My favorite screenwriter, just because of his longevity, is a man named Akiva Goldsmith. And he's sort of like a legend in Hollywood. He has done some of the big movies, the Star Treks. I think he did Gladiator. If you look him up on IMDb, it's a list. You have to like keep scrolling,
What's
because
his name again?
Akiva Goldsmith. Uh, so he's sort of like, for screenwriters, he's like that guy, like the Spielberg of
Hmm.
screenwriting. He's
Uh-huh.
done a lot of stuff with Spielberg, but he's just that guy who has been in Hollywood for 30 years, who have worked on some of the biggest films. And, if you kind of looked up his credits,
Uh-huh.
you'll see several that you went to
Uh-huh.
the movies to see.
Uh-huh.
So, he's kind of like,
He's your
uh,
favorite one.
yeah, he's one of my favorites, but I see what everybody else does is sort of different. I try to write with I do entertainment, but I write with a little more substance. to it. So I do something, what I do is like a slightly different, in a way, but I respect a lot of the people who have established track records and who have been able to do that over a long period of time.
Okay, that's great. Do you have a plan to showcase one of your films into the Cannes Festival in France?
Yes, probably in 2024.
2024.
Because I'm kind of working with a group of people, and we'll be out there representing and doing the festivals. But I have a unique situation where when people go to Cannes, a lot of times they're trying to sell their work or get what they call
True, that's
distribution.
true.
So, but in my situation, I already have my distribution piece. So I
Right,
would go to showcase it for the publicity and the networking,
right.
but I'm not really concerned about selling it because I already had that piece taken care of.
Taken care of. Wow.
but I do the American Film Festivals and Cannes and Milan and all of these, because it's a great opportunity to meet other filmmakers, and sometimes you never know who you might want to work with in the future. So it's a great networking is the lifeblood of the entertainment industry. So you
True.
always kind of want to
That's
be in
true.
a situation where you're able to, meet people and kind of be a part of the what's going on out there.
And I would add something too, even in the literary world,
Hmm.
networking is key also.
Yeah.
You,
Hmm.
you can write an impeccable story, but if nobody knows about it,
Yeah.
that's important. Have you ever heard of this film producer,
Hmm.
director by the name of Raoul Peck?
No, what did he work on?
Peck is actually is a Haitian filmmaker
Okay,
who worked with HBO
okay,
on several movies, including Lumumba, which is
okay. Hmm.
yeah, and also he's also was in, along with Spike Lee
Okay.
2 years ago in Cannes in
Hmm.
France, where they pretty much directed the whole event.
Hmm.
So that's what I'm asking you if you really know
Okay.
that. He's done a lot of things, including documentaries
Hmm.
on several historical figures within the
Hmm.
African American communities
Okay.
and all that. Yeah. So that's why I asked you this
Well, but
because I can see you,
uh-huh,
as prolific as Peck.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I'm going. That's where I want to be. Okay.
Okay. So now my last question, Vince. So if I were to really ask, a young person who would want to
Hmm.
embark upon the journey to be so multitask as you are,
Hmm.
so what lesson would you give that person? Vince?
Well, my lesson is to learn the business before you start to get into it. And I give you a good example.
Right.
You don't want to be on a football field with a basketball uniform because because you might so because see the thing that takes people so long is
Mhm.
that they don't understand the dynamics of the business. It's like show business just for entertainment, but anything you have to kind of learn the business part and at least have an understanding of it so you will know what you're doing, and,
Exactly.
and you can kind of be more intentional, because a lot of times, like in the entertainment world, you could have a hit on your hands, and the first contract that they give you is always going to be bad, but you need to understand that so you know what you're looking at and you're not just signing your name, because there are situations in the entertainment where you sign it and the company owns you. They own everything, and you're like in a work for hire type situation on with your own project. So you need to, just take a second and learn the ins and outs of the business and then start playing the game. That's what I would suggest.
So being independent would be the most
Yeah, being independent has its perks. It's like pros and cons, but no matter which way that you go, you just have to understand and make sure that it's a way that works for you. Some people are more comfortable being inside the machine. Some people are more comfortable being outside. But the only way that you'll know which one is the correct one is just take a sec. And some of these books you can buy, they're like $15, $8, $10. 2 or 3 books, and you can have a 4-year education on entertainment.
Exactly.
So for under $100, you can learn everything that you need to know, and then you know what type of things that you need to do to become successful.
So Immersive City,
yes,
will be held in Glendale, Arizona.
Yes.
From February 6th to 11th.
Yes.
2023. It's going to be all-day event.
Yep.
And everyone is invited. If you live in Florida and Georgia, you can still fly over. And then again, I just want to tell my audience, you'll have a chance to meet such a wonderful, impressive personality as Vince John, and you'll be able to sign an autograph for them too, right?
I probably will, but what I will do is I have a lot of people from the tech industry, and what I do is they're my superstars, and I could give you example. One of our partners is a guy from a scientist from Ghana.
Okay.
And what he did was he was a part of AT&T's when they were kind of finding out ways to create fiber optics. He was with the team that helped them make producing fiber optics economically feasible. We would not have the internet, Zoom, mobile phones without this African scientist. So these are the type of people who have actually changed the world.
The world, yeah.
That's in our circle. And I love to show kids that because, when they're on TikTok or wherever, my face, Facebook or Instagram, they owe that to some of these people that we will have to meet, that we can introduce them to. So, the technology world is very inspiring, and I just want to kind of be a conduit to help them see who's the person behind, like the Wizard of Oz, like the actual wizard. Like, this is the wizard. He's
the brain behind it.
Yeah. So it's a great experience, and we're just doing things that really help the students, and hopefully create situations that they can make their lives better.
So with that, I'm just going to say it's been more than a pleasure to have had the privilege to speak tonight with a screenwriter, movie producer, influential personality, Vince Jones.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.